Unfortunately, my partner cannot be here today, present with me, so I'm going to present alone. Here's the introduction. Chinese culture is packed full of information, history, and most importantly, history, and most importantly, the essence of thousands of years of cultural expansion, change, evolution, into what we see now as modern Chinese culture. Through research on Chinese culture, we can uncover the interesting history and roots of Chinese culture. Research was done, an expose of Chinese culture has emerged. The essence of Chinese culture will be revealed through three key topics: family, economy, and folklore. After briefly absorbing information that will be set forth, you will have expanded your knowledge in the field of Chinese studies and walk away with a better and more concise understanding of the Chinese as a whole, including culture and achievement. A brief history. Before we examine Chinese culture, we need to touch briefly on the incredible history of this ancient culture. The territory that is now modern China is not only extremely old, but holds significant amounts of information about the past and is the building blocks of modern Chinese culture, belief systems, and tradition. The ancient period, which includes three dynasties, is perhaps one of the most important pieces to the building blocks of modern China. The early beginnings of China can be traced back to the Paleolithic age more than 1 million years ago. The first recorded use of fire on Earth was found in the Zidu province, or Zidu in the Shaanxi province. The Neolithic age brought about new changes and extremely early attempts at irrigation and forming an agrarian-based society. The Zhao dynasty is the earliest and first evidence dynasties and is the base for where the Shang dynasty is built upon. Extremely little evidence of the Zhao dynasty exists. In fact, some scholars discount the existence of this dynasty altogether. However, there have been artifacts uncovered that suggest the existence of culture in this period of time, the most important being the bamboo annals written by historian Sima Qian. The Shang dynasty is perhaps one of the most important dynasties in the ancient age because it is the first heavily documented dynasty. This age is characterized by some of the first attempts and inscriptions of writing found in oracle bones, turtle shells, and other pieces of animal bone thought to bring about special powers. The Zhao dynasty, the longest dynasty in Chinese history, came about after the defeat of the Shang dynasty at the Battle of Luyi. King Wu, with assistance from his brother, the Duke of Zhu, emerged and usurped the throne. This dynasty would bring about the philosophical concept, mandate of heaven. This idea would stay with Chinese culture for many years to come. The imperial period is the longest era of Chinese history and spans many dynasties including Qin, Han, Jing, Qing, and Yuan, and Ming, among others. All of these dynasties are historically notable for their own successes and shortcomings, however, the list is too long. One period, the Qing dynasty, is historically notable for the beginnings of the Great Wall, although many argue it began in the Ming dynasty. Modern China, built upon all the history of ancient China and imperial periods, is what we know as China today. For a short period of time, between 1911 and 1949, the Republic of China included Taiwan and many other territories. Uprisings and political revolutions led to the separation of Taiwan from mainland China in 1949, and China became the People's Republic of China. This move allowed mainland China to be ruled by the People's Republic and Taiwan to be separated politically and economically. Now that we've touched upon a brief history of China, we can examine several aspects of Chinese culture, including family, economy, and folklore. The first is family. Family structure in China is highly nuclear and typically characterized by two parents and one child. Under Chinese law, each couple is only allowed to conceive one child. Baba, the father, is responsible for making all decisions and carries the burden of the family. He's responsible for family income, successes, and failures. In China, there's something called the principle of face. Chinese culture prides achievements and discourages failures. When one fails, they're said to have lost face and therefore are ashamed. Mama, the mother figure in Chinese families, is responsible for taking care of household tasks, providing food, and raising children. They push children hard from early stages to excel in school and teach them through discipline to do what is correct. In recent times, the practice of arranged marriage has become increasingly less evident. However, in the past, Chinese women were picked by males to engage in marriage and therefore had no choice in the decision. Children are expected from a young age to be pushed to excel in the highest form of social and academic excellence. This framework allows for successful children to become hardworking members of the workforce. Pressure on children are immense, however, and only the highest standard of excellence is acceptable. Many children who do not get accepted to college can suffer life obstacles as a result of their shortcomings. Economy. China's economy has grown at a steady rate of 9.9% since free market reforms in the late 1970s. Per capita income has also steadily increased at a rate of roughly 8% every year for the past 30 years. The vast majority of growth has spurred after China digressed away from farming and agriculture to collectivized agriculture, which is highly efficient and therefore frees up workers for other jobs in other industries. World trade, along with development of centralized banking systems and free market implementations, has contributed to China's explosive growth in the past few decades. Industries in China, the main industries are agricultural and industry, which includes light manufacturing. That makes up 70% of the workforce in China. They build everything from complicated electronics to modules for satellites and more recently nuclear weapons. The other 30% of the workforce is employed in communications, mining, and other service sectors. Recently, outsourcing from US-based companies has given China many new jobs and spurred a lot more of, I guess you could say, overseas development in terms of outsourcing. And now they're leading and competing with India in terms of outsourcing. Government regulation during times of socialist occupation was high and detrimental to the growth and development of China. The regulatory environment of China has since changed, with government taking more of a hands-off approach to enterprise and development. Inflation in China has been at a steady level between 7 and 8% in the past few years due to a rising cost in the price of living, including commodity prices. Government income was derived solely off of state institutions until the early 1990s, when income and value-added taxes were implemented to raise revenues for the government. The next and last thing that we're going to talk about is Chinese folklore. Chinese culture is chock full of interesting and mysterious folklore. Most of Chinese folklore is derived from Confucius and early beliefs of higher powers and afterlife. Originally, Chinese culture had no way of explaining the world and no creation myth similar to other cultures. There are several folktales that emerged to explain where the world came from. Taoist folktales are some of the most popular, although one myth, that of Pangu, is extremely popular in Chinese culture. Pangu. Pangu is considered the father of all mankind. The folklore goes as follows. Pangu was trapped in a large egg. He broke free, and when he cracked the egg open, light and dark separated. Light became the sky, and dark became the earth. Pangu stayed in the middle of both bodies and grew taller for 18,000 years until he died. When Pangu perished, his breath became the wind and clouds, his eyes the sun and moon, his blood the rivers, and his limbs the mountains and valleys. Pangu is also thought to have created yin and yang. That's where the original idea of good and evil comes from. In conclusion, after researching the family, economical, and folklore sections of Chinese culture, I've determined several things. Chinese culture is an ancient, tradition-based culture and has its roots in over 5,000 years of cultural change, expansion, and development. However, after thousands of years, many of the concepts that originated in the early years are still prevalent in Chinese society today. These concepts, beliefs, and traditions have shaped a modern, diverse society where family and success are merged with the more traditional ideas of religion and societal concepts which drive this incredible country to survive and flourish. I am confident that the information I presented will lead insight into my idea of Chinese culture. Just thank some people, NJCCSF, for providing us with this opportunity to give our perspectives on Chinese culture. Professor Dang Shen, I don't know where she is. Well, anyway, she pushed me and gave me a lot of dedication and time that without her, none of this would have been possible. My parents who support and motivate me to succeed in all my endeavors, and lastly, all of my peers, friends, and colleagues who shape me and influence me every day. Thank you.
Sorry for the technical difficulties. Again, our projects, the essence of Chinese culture in our eyes, our basic conclusion is that through perpetuation of Chinese culture through people and through the performance of the perpetuation of celebrations such as Chinese New Year, the essence of Chinese culture is found in that it's not easily definable, but we can see it, and it helps make Chinese culture meaningful, and it will continue to